So in the previous video, just from considering what relative atomic mass is, we've said relative atomic mass is the mass of an atom compared to 1 over 2 of the mass of carbon 12. So we also have what we call relative molecular mass. Okay. Now, what is relative molecular mass? And for this one, the symbol is capital M, so small. What is relative atomic molecular mass? So when you're talking about relative molecular mass, is simply the total of the relative atomic masses. Relative molecular mass is adding the relative atomic masses. For example, when you talk of a hydrogen molecule, the relative molecular mass of this one, because it's a molecule, why it is not just alone. If it is like this is an atom, but because there are the two of them like that, that's a molecule. So this is going to be, you're going to get this number 2. You multiply by the mass, relative atomic mass of hydrogen. On the periodic table, you're going to find that's a 1. So this is going to give you 2. This is the relative molecular mass of hydrogen molecule. If you talk of, let's say, hydrogen chloride or hydrochloric acid, you have got chlorine. The relative atomic mass for chlorine, if you check on the periodic table, is going to be 35.5. Now, the relative atomic mass for hydrogen is 1. So I'm going to add these. 35.1 plus 1, that is going to be 36.5. Another thing you can talk about is water. If you see one have for one oxygen, if you check on the periodic table, the relative atomic mass for oxygen is 16. And then we have got 2 hydrogens, but each hydrogen on the periodic table has got a relative atomic mass of 1. Okay. So 2 times 1 is 2 plus 16, that is going to be 18. We can also talk of carbon dioxide. Oxygen, remember we've got 2 of them here. Oxygen has got a relative atomic mass of 16. And then you have got carbon. Carbon, if you check on the periodic table, we use 12. We only have 1 carbon here, so it will be 12. So on top we have got 2 times 16, which is 32. 32 plus 12, that is going to be 44. That's the relative atomic mass for carbon dioxide. Let's talk of, let's say, sodium carbonate. We have got 3 oxygens. We multiply by the relative atomic mass of oxygen on the periodic table, that is 16. And then you only have 1 carbon, and we know that carbon, the relative atomic mass is what? Is a 12 from the periodic table. And then you have got 2 sodiums, and each sodium, the relative atomic mass on the periodic table is a 23. So if we calculate this, we multiply and then we add, we are going to get 106. Okay, let's talk of aluminium sulfate. Before I even write the relative atomic mass, try to write the formula for aluminium sulfate. We talked about that in the previous video. What will be the formula for aluminium sulfate? So remember, we have got aluminium, which is an atom, and aluminium is in group 3, meaning it has got a valence of 3. And then a sulfate, this is a radical. We have got a group of elements with the same valency, so it is SO4, and then it has got a charge of 2 minus. So let's see if you can finish the formula. You can pause the video and try out. Alright, so if you get aluminium, you combine it with a sulfate. This 3 which is on the aluminium is going to go on the sulfate. This 2 which is on the sulfate, of course I've not just put a charge. This is supposed to be 3 plus because aluminium is a metal. Metals lose electrons. So this 2 is going to come on the aluminium. We're going to put it down here. This 3 is going to go on the one on the sulfate, and then we're going to put it here. You need to always put this in brackets because this 3 is going to apply to the whole of this compound, which is a sulfate. Alright, so this is the symbol or the formula for aluminium sulfate. Now let's determine its relative atomic mass. Okay, so determine the relative atomic mass for aluminium sulfate. First thing we are going to do, we are going to start with oxygen. How many oxygens do we have? We have got 4. But remember also have a 3 here. This 3 is applying to everything in the brackets here. So it's going to be 4 multiplied by 3. That is going to give us a 12. And then we go on the periodic table. What's the relative atomic mass for oxygen? It is 16. And then we are going to come to sulfur. You only have one sulfur here, but remember we've got a 3 here. So 1 times the 3, that is going to be 3. Go on the periodic table. The relative atomic mass for sulfur is 32. And then we come to aluminium. How many aluminiums are here? We have got the 2 of them. Well, this 3 is not applying because the aluminium is not inside the brackets also. So it's just a 2. And what's the relative atomic mass for aluminium? If we check on the periodic table, the relative atomic mass for aluminium is the 27. So this is what we are going to total now, and this is going to give us 342. That's going to be the relative molecular mass for aluminium. Alright, I mean aluminium sulfate. So that is how we go about it. Another thing that we are going to understand now, that one we are going to understand it in the coming video, now to look at bonding and also just the structure of matter. Thank you so much.